All right, just a couple of days ago, we had two pretty massive updates to the DoorDash Dasher platform, one affecting requirements and the other what you qualify for as a Dasher. So let's get into it. So two things changing. Number one, your required completion rate. So there's acceptance rate. I get a prospective order request. Do I like it? Do I not like it? Okay. I accept it. I actually have an assignment that I have to complete now. And the percent of times that I actually complete that accepted run, that's my acceptance rate out of the last 100 accepted deliveries. Now here, late 2022, this has always been 80%. So technically, you didn't even have to finish 20% of your orders. Now, clearly not violating driver terms of service, but emergencies, long waits at restaurants, you had a pretty good cushion to cancel orders. Now there's an asterisk on that 80%, and some markets can only cancel half of that. Now, 10% of those accepted delivery runs. So they have a minimum completion rate of 90%. So who is affected? Is it coming to your marketplace? And will this expand if it's not in your marketplace currently? So right now, the 90% threshold pertains to Des Moines, Connecticut, San Antonio, Albuquerque, Huntsville, Palm Bay, Omaha, Seattle, and New Orleans. So that's going to present a lot of questions. You can only cancel 10%, and this is actually a rolling average of, again, your last 100 deliveries. So you can't go canceling like 9 orders immediately, because then you have only a cushion of one more cancellation before you eventually do the 100 total deliveries, and that's one of the cancellations rolls off. So let's talk about, do I think this is going to expand to other marketplaces, and is this really a big deal? So number one, do I think this is going to expand to different marketplaces? Yes. And in doing my research here, I believe it was initially 3 markets and now it's at 9 markets. And we have some smaller markets, but also some bigger markets in here. So is it going to expand? I think so. Is this going to be the new norm? I unfortunately kind of think so. I'm hoping not, just to give you a little more freedom as an independent contractor, by the way. We're independent contractors, but at the very minimum, okay, the very minimum, I do think this is going to expand. Number 2, is this a problem to only cancel now 10%, or in essence, 10 out of the last 100 deliveries? Yes and no. It's a problem. Obviously, number 1, again, as independent contractors, we want the freedom to run our business. In essence, that's what it is, the way we see fit. And the more control some of these companies have, it doesn't really feel like an independent contractor relationship. Now, in practice, I'm going to try to give you the most neutral stance here, honestly. Now, it's a problem because, yes, it gives you less leeway, less of a cushion. If you're in that restaurant, you're like, I'm standing here for 12 minutes, 15 minutes, I'm going to cancel. You're unfortunately going to have to be more selective with that. So really start to think about, because it's most likely not in your market. If it is, comment down below. But start to think about, okay, which restaurants might I be tighter with, more strict? Maybe I don't want to accept from that restaurant if I've had more and more problems in the past. Versus, let's say it's not a problem, okay? Do you even cancel 10%? Let me ask you that. Comment down below. And I can see this going both ways, so comment down below. You could think, well, I cancel a lot, but I don't think I cancel 10%, if that's going to be the new threshold. Honestly, I think 15 to 20% is the sweet spot where you should be. I feel like 10's kind of tight. So that is how these markets, and maybe in the coming months or whatever weeks, how your markets, you're going to have to treat it. You're just going to have to be tighter on when you cancel, frankly. At this point, if you can, drop a like on this video, consider subscribing. We'd love to have you a part of the team here. We help you make money in different side hustles. Also, check out newdrivermike.com for courses and resources to help you in most any side hustle. Update number 2 that just happened, again, like 2 or 3 days ago, is DoorDash in some marketplaces is introducing a tiered Dasher system. So here it is under Dasher rewards, and it says what ratings are required for each level. And there's 3, as you can see here: silver, gold, and platinum. So what is this? Do I qualify? Do you want to qualify? What are the benefits? And of course, is it worth it? So the silver starter level here, we have acceptance rate criteria at the bottom, completion rate, customer rating, and deliveries in the last 30 days. So if you have a 50% acceptance rate, a 90% completion rate, and an easy, 4.5 customer rating, no qualifications for deliveries in the last 30 days, you get the silver level, which qualifies you for priority access for a higher paying orders. Doesn't that sound like, yeah, exactly. That is almost verbatim priority access, aka accept more, earn more. Here's a criteria for priority access: a 4.5 and minimum of a 50% acceptance rate gets you access to priority orders. So I'll say the same thing that I've said for any really incentive program that centers around, at least in part, acceptance rate. Is it worth it to accept 50% of orders in your marketplace? If it is, go for it. If it's not, I would not chase this. A 50% acceptance rate alone is probably going to lose you money. Okay, number 2, gold. It's going to get better, right? Let's see. So with gold, a 70% acceptance rate, a 90% completion rate, 4.5 customer rating, and no delivery requirements in the last 30 days. Now here, as a gold dasher, you get VIP dasher support, which means not much. That's going to put you to the front of a queue. And the queue with dasher support, typically, it's not that long anyway. Perk number 2, increased priority for higher paying orders. Isn't that? Yes, that's verbatim again, basically priority access. So 4.5, and the second tier of 70% gets you even higher priority to those higher paying orders. Now, don't leave this video yet, because probably the biggest change is in this next level. So with Platinum, a 70% acceptance rate, a 95% completion rate, so bumped just a little bit. The customer rating bumped just a little bit as well. You shouldn't have a problem with that, 4.5 or 4.7. But here you do need 100 deliveries in the last 30 days. That's definitely doable. Okay, now here you get access, let's see, to Dash Now anytime. So you can use Dash Now anytime. Isn't that? It is. It is just Top Dasher, basically verbatim. 4.7, 70%, 95%, and 100 gets you access to Dash anytime. So you can just go online in gray zones. You don't have to rely on Dash Now. But this next thing on Platinum gets you access to large orders. What are large orders? That is aka DoorDash Drive. Those are the catering orders. Why is that a big deal? And it even says here, must equip catering bag. So this is the Drive program. The big deal here is, as long as you get basically second tier of priority access, you also automatically get DoorDash Drive, which used to be, which has always been, invite only via email only. So think about this. Now, someone going for Platinum, either a full-time driver or just someone that drives more hours or just is going for this in general, yeah, they get Top Dasher, but now they're bumped into DoorDash Drive, those catering orders, which I believe are a minimum subtotal of like $100, but flat out, these can be much higher paying orders versus it always being invite only. So it's going to push more and more Dashers into this Drive catering program. And unless you're in probably the top largest markets, or at least a large market in general, I don't think this is going to benefit medium or less sized marketplaces, because how many catering orders are they doing in medium and smaller marketplaces versus large metros with a ton of corporations, office parks that might be ordering a lot for staff, what have you. So verdict for you, number one, should you expect your completion rates minimums actually increase from 80% to 90%? Possibly. And again, you're going to want to subscribe. I'll bring it to you ASAP here. If we see that, if we see it extend here in Pittsburgh, etc., subscribe right now. Number two, the tiered programs, which I think aren't in a lot of markets either. Let me know if you've seen that. These tiered programs, gold, silver, platinum. Is it worth it? I don't really think so. It's basically a renaming thing for Priority Access, Top Dasher, and then the Top Dasher with free access to DoorDash Drive. So in practice, I wouldn't really worry about the tiered program unless you're like a full-time driver and you're really going for platinum. Otherwise, just keep an eye on that completion rate and minimums. And again, subscribe here for more.